So you've been bitten by that bourbon bug. You've been hanging out at some friends' houses with some nice collections, having a few pours over there, and you're ready to get your own collection started. You've been watching all kinds of videos on YouTube, and everyone's pretty much telling you the same thing, aren't they? Here are the top 5 bourbons that you need on your bar. These are the best beginner whiskeys you need to have to get your collection started. Well, I'm here to throw a wrench in all of those plans. I'm Tuck, and this is Bourbon Broke. So you're ready to get that collection started, but you're not exactly sure what to get. You've been talking with your friends, getting some input from them, watching all kinds of videos on YouTube, and everyone's probably telling you pretty much the same things, aren't they? You need a Wild Turkey 101. You need a Wild Turkey Rare Breed. You need an Old Forester 1910. You need a Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. Some might be telling you since Buffalo Trace is a lot more available now than it used to be, you definitely need to have one of those in your bar. Well, here's what I think of those bottles. They're absolutely correct. You have to have those bottles on your bar. Those are staples that should be in anyone's collection to get started. I know I have them all on my bar still, plus backups of those, and I'm sure I always will. But we need to start looking at things a little bit different as well, and here's why. So here's why you need to look at things just a little bit differently when you first get that collection started. While you do need those core bottles we just talked about, you do need to sprinkle in some other things as well, and here's why. I know when I go over to a friend's house that has a nice bourbon selection, I want to try something new. I want to try something I don't have in my bar at home. Could be a new bottle, could be an old bottle, it doesn't matter. Just something different, something he suggests that I may like. And it's going to be the same thing when they come over to your house. Even though you have a small selection at the beginning, you can still add in a couple more bottles maybe they haven't had before. And you can share it with them and have a recommendation for them when they come over as well. And that's what we're talking about. So the first bottle I'm going to talk about is one that's becoming very, very popular, but I'm still finding quite a few people out there that haven't tried this yet, and that's the Ben Holiday. I love every single thing I've had from these guys. This one right here is the soft red wheat Rickhouse proof, coming in at 120.1 proof, and I believe I paid around 75 for this one, up there a little bit on that, but they do make a soft red wheat bottled in bond as well, so that's going to be 100 proof, and I believe I paid 55 for that one. Now, one of the things I love about Ben Holiday, other than the taste, is their transparency. They have a label right here on the bottle on each one of them. It'll tell you exactly when it was distilled, when it was bottled, and this is a blend of different barrels, so it has each individual floor that those barrels were on and the percentages of each one of those barrels that went into it as well. Love the transparency on this. You can't go wrong with these Ben Holiday bottles. Check these out. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about is one of my absolute favorites right now. Now, a lot of people out there are talking about the Green River lineup, the bourbon, the wheated bourbon, and the rye. They're all phenomenal bottles, $35 to $37 price range. You can't beat it. Great bottles for that price range. But if you want something with a little bit more punch on there, look for the Green River Full Proof, 117.3 proof. The price goes up a little bit, only to 50 bucks. This will hang with any bottle out there in that price range. Now, when you're watching all of those videos on YouTube about all the bourbons you have to have on your bar, I guarantee you in a very, very short time, this bottle right here is going to be on all of those lists. This is one of my absolute favorite $50 bottles out there right now. I can't ever see not having this one on my bar. If you see it out there, do not pass it up. The next one I'm going to talk about is from one of my favorite distilleries out there right now, Redwood Empire. Their basic lineup consists of Pipe Dream, which is their bourbon, Emerald Giant, which is their rye, and this one's the Lost Monarch, which is kind of like a burr rye, 55% rye, 45% of their bourbon. These come in at mid-30s. I've seen them mostly $35, $37. I think the most I've seen them for was $39. Fantastic bottles of that. Now, they also make cask strengths of all of those as well, and those are phenomenal. The price range on those jumps up to around $75 to $79, but they are phenomenal. They have a lot of other specialty things in their lineup, a lot of special releases like their Screaming Titan, Foggy Burl, Grizzly Beast, Rocket Top, and those are all phenomenal as well. Based out of California, all of the bottles are named after the trees up in the redwoods. They also plant a tree for every bottle that they sell. So far to date, they've planted over 1.5 million trees, which is phenomenal. I just hope they're mostly oak trees. Now this next one I'm going to go over is one of my absolute favorites out right now. It comes from a distillery up in Nashville, Indiana called Hard Truth, and they're doing some phenomenal things with their sweet mash lineup. The sweet mash rye, the bourbon, the wheated bourbon, and my favorite, the bottled and bond 4-grain. Now this has one of the best noses I've ever had in my entire life on a bottle. It's just birthday cake, sweet buttery pastry all day long on this. Now I'm not really into sweet whiskeys much, and thank goodness that nose does not transfer over into the palate like that. It mellows out in just a good full flavor on that palate and on the finish. This is one bottle that I will have on my bar as long as it's available. If you see this out there, do not pass this up. Now this next one is a bottle that was really gaining a lot of popularity not long ago, but I'm still surprised that a lot of people have not tried this yet. And that's the James E. Pepper Decanter. Now this is a really good bottle, 106.4 proof, $65 on this. I went through one. This is my second bottle of this, and it's a classic bourbon. You have your caramel, your vanilla, and a nice oak taste on this one. And I'll tell you what, I do love me some oak. I love oak in a bourbon. That's what it sits in for all those years. I want to taste it. Tell you what, if I am ever reincarnated as an animal, I want to come back as a rat and just hang out in a rick house all day long and sleep. And at night, when everyone's gone, I will get out and I'll just lick those barrels all night long. I will be Rick House Rat. You can call me Ricky for short. I don't know where that came from. But anyway, this is a great bottle. It's going to look good on your bar. Grab this when you see it. Now here's a recommendation for you. Now that you got your collection started, you're probably going to have one or two go-to liquor stores that you're going to frequent quite often. Never go into your go-to liquor stores and walk out empty-handed. Always buy something. If you don't see anything that piques your interest or you don't see something you're looking for in particular, ask for a recommendation. That's what I did on this next bottle. I walked in, didn't really see anything jumped out at me. I asked the owner for a recommendation. He says, "Have you ever had the Sagamore Double Oaked Rye?" I hadn't. It was $55, 96.6 proof. Sure, I went ahead and bought it, and I am so glad I did. This is a great double oaked. We talked earlier about that Woodford Reserve double oak that you have to have on your bar. I will take this any day over that one. That's just my palate. Some people might like the Woodford Reserve double oaked better, but I think this one right here is phenomenal. This is another one that I will always have on my bar. If you see it out there, grab it. Now this last one I'm going to go over with you is something completely different. This is something I'm sure most of your friends have not had, and that's the whole premise of this video. Have something that your friends haven't had before that you can share with them. Now this is something I normally don't go to at all, something completely different for me. Took a chance on this bottle off of a recommendation, and I'm glad I did. This is the Westland Sherrywood American Single Malt. Now I'm normally not into single malts, but this bottle is really, really good. It doesn't have that strong, robust flavor that a higher proof bourbon might have, but it's a good go-to if you want something a little bit different. I have this one. I do have some Stranahans as well on my bar, the American Single Malts, and they're really good for just a nice change of pace. So if you want something that most of your friends have probably not had and you really want to share something different with them, go with this. You can't go wrong with it. You'll like it. And now that you're ready to start your own collection, I hope this episode made sense. While you do need those core bottles that we talked about at the start, you also need to mix in a couple other things as well, so when you do have friends come over, you'll have something to share with them that they may not have had yet. If you liked the episode, please hit that like and subscribe button, that notification bell. It doesn't cost you a dime and it really helps me out. If you'd like to check out some Bourbon Broke merchandise, go to bourbonbroke.com, go to the store where everything always has free shipping. That's all for today. I'm Tuck, and remember, keep your friends close and your bourbon closer. I need a drink.